Okay. Alright guys, so we're going to start out with the custom idea here. So basically what we have is this monstrosity here, and I want to turn this guy into what this guy should be. Now realistically their clothes are nearly identical. The folds and stuff like that are pretty much all there, though this guy probably has a little bit more. But the legs are nearly identical, but I want to use the ones that come on this guy. I'm going to use the clothing from him with the exception of this part. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I might have to swap out... Yeah, I'm going to have to swap for this whole bottom piece because of this. So, what we want to do, we're going to go ahead and do the opposite of what I had to struggle to do before. And pull that apart. And you can see he doesn't have the waistband there like this version does. That's what, well, basically all of this is doing. So I don't really need his legs. I could customize just his legs and that would be fine. And that would actually save this, but, you know, I've already got this whole thing. I could potentially just use this arm, but from what I can tell, the arms are identical. So it'd probably be easier just for me to go ahead and remove these arms and just paint them black. Make my life easy. No pun intended, paint them black. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and yank his head off. Carefully, hopefully. Oh wow, okay, so he's got a heck of a ball joint going on there that I think actually pulled up. Yes, it did. That ball joint actually pulled up and out when I did that. That's crazy. That's the first time that's happened. And here's another thing. Look how far in that is in comparison. So let's pull him apart. So look, this is the same torso essentially, but look at the difference here. That's a massive change in how deep that goes. Oh, actually, no. I was wrong. This torso is different, so that might cause problems on this side. Wow, pulling that apart, now he's hot. Okay, so that might cause some issues here. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to have to use his crotch because it's got a much longer ball peg. It looks like... Yeah, this one is tucked much deeper down. I wonder if it can be pulled up, though. Because, wow, I just realized that leg came off like nothing. Okay, so I want these legs, but I'm going to have to repaint them so that everybody matches. That's not a problem. I think the crotch... Let me look at this again. Okay, so it's the same crotch, but this peg is infinitely longer. I mean, what's the difference? It's just paint, right? So let me pop the leg joints off. Pop the leg joints off. Okay, you do it that way, it come off real easy. Okay, no breakage. Close though. Stressing, no big deal. Alright, so I'm going to have to use this part with this part to get way up in there. Go ahead and hope that fits, which it doesn't look like it necessarily does, but that's just a little bit of trim work. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Hold on. Oh yeah, much different. Look at that. Wow, okay, so gonna have to trim this part down quite a bit. Okay, so this is already looking to be a bigger project than I anticipated, but that's okay. I mean, the other option is to just make this hole bigger. What you do, and cut the softer stuff, make a bigger hole for it. It should be okay. Actually, I wonder if I even bother. Like, I mean, that'll just mean that can move a little. I'm a little concerned about this neck peg coming out, though. That was strange. That never happens. But now his neck does move. Now, there is a difference between this body and this body. By the way, I gotta pull this head off. I forgot. Okay, so much longer neck, much thicker neck. Also, he has a straight collar. He's got this kind of going on. I could probably just fill that ever so slightly with some glue and then sand it down. My question is, where is the split? Like, if I wanted to separate the bodies, I'm gonna go ahead and pull his arms off. Hopefully they come out without a whole lot of struggle. I might have to get my pry tool. Hold on. Okay, I went ahead and got this pry tool. Maybe it'll work because it kind of works like a pickle fork here. might work too. Oh wow, that just completely bent that. Didn't expect that to happen. Okay. When in doubt, grab the Lego tool. See if that works. I might have to heat the joint up a little bit because it might be toleranced a little bit better than the Build-A-Figure parts are. See, the one thing I don't want to lose is the green neck. So the green neck and the green hands I want to be able to keep. So whenever I get that far, I'm trying to figure out, those have got to just be mushroom capped in there or potentially just other extra ball joints. But I need to get the arms out because I have to paint all of that. I don't want to pull the shoulder complete, not the shoulder, I don't want to pull the bicep out of socket. So let's just try. Oh, shit. That guy's in there. Okay, already not as easy as I wanted it to be. Once again, what is happening with this neck ball joint? I mean, in theory, I could paint that. I just really want to get inside there. So let's modify this just a little bit. Where's the other skirt? Oh yeah, it's just a much bigger cut hole. Not a biggie. Okay. This is so soft. Should take no effort to remove any excess. That's actually overkill, but that's okay. A little bit wider than necessary. And let's see here, kind of bigger in almost every direction. So let's go over here. Go over here just a little. Like I said, nice soft plastic actually makes it super easy to do this part. Okay, crotch. That's an almost. It's an almost maybe. Okay, so all this up front needs to go. Let's also cut this just a little bit wider. Okay. I mean, even if it comes down to it, I can always glue the crotch to this part. I won't be offended if I have to do that. As long as it gets deep enough to where it's actually doing its job. That's all that matters. Okay, so that's close on center there. Okay, so that's a little much. And still need just a little bit more out the front here. Now, once again, the main reason I'm doing this is because I need this belt. Because while the rest of it's very similar, this is definitely not. Okay, so that can now squeeze up in there to a degree. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and trim this back some more. It's almost pointless. Okay, so it's hitting right here. And right up in here. This is definitely going to take some cleaning up to do. Okay, so this hole is now significantly larger than it needed to be, but it should work fine. I mean, a little bit too big is better than way too small. Which is what it was. It was definitely way too small. Okay, so that's basically there. I mean, it's more than good enough at that point. Okay, so I can get that now up inside his sad little torso. Now what I need is those bits to come apart. So once again, we're pretty much not using any of this. Though we could probably make a funny custom on that side, now that I think about it. Okay, don't need that. Set it aside. Don't need the sash. Though the sash might be an interesting addition to something else, if I wanted to do it. Do an interesting, like, version of Goku or something. Okay, I'll save all the Zamas hands, because I'm going to need those. Cleaning all this up. Okay, and once again, these legs will work no matter what. Pretty much up in there. Yeah, they're exactly the same legs. So that shouldn't be a problem. Learn a lesson this time. Do it this way. Now we shove that up in there. I'm going to have to paint that crotch, obviously. I'm going to line it up. Okay. It's like the skirt is actually tighter than the other version. It's kind of funny. I'm gonna wonder. Let me see here. Is the diameter the same? Should be. Should be the exact same layout. No, this is a skinnier bit around here. Okay, so that's the other problem. This is a narrower body. Interesting. Okay, so I've got to change that. I got to sculpt that down a little. Here I am thinking that's essentially the same thing, and it's not. Nope. So that's going to take some sanding. Okay, so already taking way more effort than I anticipated. So that's fun to a degree. I have to trim the butt back too. We'll see what happens. But I can do all this. Hopefully shouldn't affect it. I can sand this all down. Maybe take the Dremel tool to it. Just make it a little bit more narrow. Because it looks like... Because it looked like it was the same thing, but it's definitely not. So, I mean, I think I can get away with trimming down the back and the sides a bit. I need a marker. Alright, I'm going to go mark that. Okay. So bring the front in, bring the sides in, and trim the back in a little bit. Basically just overall, make it a bit smaller of a waist, or just, yeah, just a little bit smaller. Maybe it just, yeah, we got to do the front and the back. It's a little bit wider either way. So basically shape it down so it'll fit up in there. Unfortunately, that probably means that it's going straight through. I don't want that to happen. The legs should be okay, but obviously this whole bit needs to change up size-wise. I'm going to take a Dremel tool to it because there ain't no way I'm doing that by hand. That would take forever to sand. So I'm going to go do that. Gotta go get the Dremel tool out. Okay, be back again. Okay, so definitely got it a bit skinnier. A little bit, well, it's definitely smaller than this now, but let's see here. Now it just comes down to the legs, but it's no longer deforming everything, so that was the goal. So, I mean, that'll do for sure. Once again, these legs are just kind of pointless up in there. I mean, it's still off center, but definitely a bit better. It can fit up in there a lot better. I guess now the challenge would be to see if I can get the torso together. Alright, so that does work. So that's going to be good. And the legs are still super restricted, but it is what it is. Let me see here. So the only real difference is this pokes out a bit more here, and this is a bit smoother there, but this actually allows for a ton of movement where the other one didn't. So that's an improvement. Now, if I want to do this, like I said, I can fill that in. All I really have is some super glue. If I use a little bit of baking soda, I can probably fill that in and smooth it out. I gotta wonder if I can pull the ball joint out of the neck or not. Because presumably that's just a ball joint at the bottom, right? Because the other thing I could do, so that's this one's neck, which is a lot thicker. It doesn't really move at all. So, I mean, I like that look, and this head is sitting up a bit higher, just for comparison's sake. Does that ball joint even go in there? It might not. Okay, so I can't even get the ball joint up in that neck. So, but it doesn't matter because I'm not using this head. I'm using this head as a basis, but I'm taking this hair off. And one thing I've been trying to figure out with these figures for quite some time is how the hair is even attached. Because the head is solid plastic. And I don't know that there's any holes. So, in reality, I gotta wonder if the hair can just come out. I think I'll take a hairdryer to it and see. Because for the most part, I want this head to pretty much be the same. I don't really see any difference to remove it. It'd be nice to resculpt something, but I think it'll be okay to use this head. Presumably, it's perfectly the same. Like I said, the hair is actually completely off, I think. But considering how much of the head the Super Saiyan hair covers, I mean, even if I take like the top of the head off, it might be okay. Because this covers 90% of the head. So that might be what it takes, is shaving down the head to make the hair fit. Because that's one thing I've been trying to figure out. Like, you can see how the layers work to some degree. Like, you can pull that apart and figure that out and try to get the face out. Because one thing I don't want to do is carve this all up. I mean, I can carve the face off if I need to, but I don't want to have to. I can probably find a way to just remove the glue. So, I'm going to figure that part out. Okay, so, after a ton of work, I've got the hair apart. So this part, after a bit of just prying, after cutting a bunch of stuff, it came off. So the whole front part is actually just glued on like that, thanks to the AC coming off. And you can see I absolutely mangled the face and had to chop a lot to get out. And you can even see in there, this is all still what's left of the head. Now, I'm probably going to take the rest of it, like Dremel with the grinding tool to get in there and get all that out. The hard part is going to be, because he has a complete head, whereas the other one was a molded bit, is going to be a bit hard. So I'm going to have to kind of purposely cut his hair out, and then probably going to have to shave his head without losing the ball joint on the inside. So what it might take is leaving it on the body, at least temporarily, and then cutting the head to fit. So, I mean, obviously before it was meant to fit inside there, under this bridge, and then it went all up inside there. The other option is I could probably cut out a good chunk of the hair to make some room, but the head's going to have to be reduced one way or the other for that, because it's a very concentrated thing. So, I mean, the ears have to poke out right through here, so that's actually a pretty definite thing. So a whole lot of head's probably going to have to come out, or a whole lot of hair is going to have to come out, but I don't think I can reduce the hair that much. But getting the face down, or getting it down toward just the face, is going to be the hard part. So I need to cut out all of this hair, which scares me, to be honest. It's probably glued on, but I don't have a good way to do that. But at least keeping the ball joint there will let me know how much head I have to work with and the angle I'm working at. So, I mean, like, physically, like, there's most of the body, and that's just going to require paint to fix. The head is going to be the hard part, and I can't screw up the face sculpt or anything like that, or the ears. So I've got to work exclusively around the top of the head, and maybe even, like, cube it off, basically, make it fit in this area. So, fun times. Okay, so he's got a bit of a haircut now. You can see it was definitely glued on right through here, but that's good because the hair, this hair, will definitely fit over that. I'm trying to get to the root, so to speak. I can see it's just sort of plugged in on the top here. Yeah, that's all it is, just plugged in. There we go. Just, his head turned all the way around. So you can see there, that's how his toupee works. There's no good way to grip the front. And this is where I'm glad that I plugged the body in. I plugged it onto the body, I should say. There we go, and I took part of the forehead with it. Okay. So, now we have a bald Kai to work with. Mega Mind here. Okay, so I know I can only go so deep with carving the hair, but now that I've got that out of the way, I can see what I need to work with, so to speak. Oops, if I just drop it. Okay, so that needs to be around about there, I think, a little bit further in. So that's not too bad. So this one would be just like carving the top of the head off. Oop, that's the backwards. Yep, that was backwards. Okay. So yeah, it's basically carving the head away or carving the hair away. So I need to see if I can't clear this out and really get down in there and see what I can do. It's probably going to be a combination of both, making a wig basically for him. And in the end run, it's going to end up getting glued on, but I want to make sure the face is in good shape when I do that. So I think the top of the ball joint is right there. So once again, he's got a... Ah, damn it. So I knew that neck was going to come out at some point. So that's going to be difficult. I'll plug back in. Who knew? Okay, so let's get the ball joint out instead of the whole thing. That's probably going to need some glue. So let's call that top of the ball joint. So the rest of the head is kind of fair game. So as long as I can get the hair, I guess in theory the hair needs to sit really far back, so I might have to really cut off the back of the head and stuff. I can always clean off a Sharpie later with alcohol. So like all the way through the back here. Something like that. And like I said, I gotta leave the ball joint, so I've got to leave a lot of structure on the inside. Great. Little Dremel, little everything else. So I at least got that more or less hollowed out. Haven't started on the head yet. I think I'm going to start removing the backside kind of slowly, just carve down along the lines there, linked as good as I can. I don't want to have to completely carve it down to that, but that probably is going to be the end result, even probably all the way up behind the ears. So, like I said, as long as I leave the head sculpt alone and I can get to the ball joint, I think that's all that matters. Alright, so I've carved his head down by a lot. Look at that. Still got a ways to go to get the hair on there, but actually the front... Yeah, actually the front's going to be a problem. I have to get it in there. Probably slope the forehead a bit. But, I mean, I got the hair almost there. I need to do that. I mean, I guess I could carve out some of the head. I just don't want to lose any of the hair, because the ear has to come through here, more or less. So, I don't know. I got some crud in my eye while doing all that. But, more or less, it's getting there. Kind of just need to trim this whole section up. Just get it real narrow. I mean, got plastic in my mouth. Okay, last update for the night. I got it kind of happy. It took an enormous amount of carving, and still not 100% where I'd like it to be, but it's pretty good. I think with glue and some putty, it'll be perfect. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, the hairline is probably not as low as it should be, but I think it works. Because I don't have enough forehead to actually drop the head down enough to be exposed. Like, that is literally as low as that can go. But then I have this problem here, where the ear, all that becomes exposed. Not much I can do about that, so I need to cram that back up in there. So, I'm happy with that. I think that'll be good, just for checking it out's sake. Let's cram it on the neck. There we go. That looks awesome. A little bit much, but it'll do. Just everything kind of held together with putty at the moment. Sticky tack. So, there we go. That's pretty much Fusion Zamas ready for paint. So, yeah, that'll be tomorrow. And I still have to figure out how to get the arms out. But the head, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright guys, it's a new day, so we're going to go ahead and work on this. I've got the hair pretty much figured out. I don't really have great lighting in here. Oddly, it's very orange all of a sudden. Okay, so you can see I had to carve out quite a lot. So there used to be a lip down here, and that's what locked into the other part of hair. I've also had to carve out a lot on the sides and down here to accommodate for the forehead. And obviously with this part, I've done a lot. So I've carved out more around here. I carved out a little bit for the ears. This part fits almost 100% perfect, at least for my needs. This part is still a little bit wonky, but it's going to come down to gluing it in place to get it finalized. So I've already masked off the parts that I'm going to not paint. So the feet I don't want to mess with. And these are going to be black anyways, but I'm priming everything to get it all as an equal surface, because, you know, you never know what you're working with. So both legs. I haven't figured out quite what I'm going to do here, because I really want the inside of this to still be red, but the red I have probably isn't going to work for that. Or what I'm going to have to do, I might just leave it. Like, I'll make sure that I get the rest of this definitely primed, because the other thing is, this is soft, so that's going to suck. So I got to be real careful with how I do this. I don't want a good solid paint on top of that. I need a bit of flex to it. But I think what I'll do is I'm just gonna maybe spray that inside with the remaining Italian red I have. So basically do all of this with the gray that I'm gonna go with and stuff like that. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that just yet. I could go ahead and mask all of the inside of that off and just leave it, so it could be a different color. I could do that. I've got, I've got the masking tape. I could do that. But definitely want to get all the rest of it at least somewhat primed so that there's something for new paint to stick to. And then the torso, I can't get the arms off. I don't know if they're pegged in differently. It doesn't feel like it's just a straight ball socket joint. It feels like it's in there a little bit more. I tried pulling on it, and basically the bicep looked like is what is going to come apart. Tried prying it out, ended up kind of damaging my pry tools. So the whole upper torso, I'm just going to kind of paint together. I'm going to prime it all together. I've got the neck and the hands that I want to keep green. Got that there. You'll say that obviously I've got to get parts of the joints here. I mean, in theory I could take the arms completely apart and all that, but I'm not that worried about it. These are all going to be black, so if I need to get in some of those edges I can, but I want to get the main prime areas get done. I'm probably going to skip out on doing red inside there and just do it all as black. So this the shirt, so to speak, that's going to be gray. And then the undershirt, so that and the arms are going to be black. And I've got, all my paints are behind my computer here. Okay, so I've got this nice flat red, which is going to be all of my edge work there. I've got a semi-gloss Tamiya clear coat, which I'm going to use. I've got German gray, which is, I think, what I decided I'm going to go with for the main outfit. And I've got just black. So it's not like a super glossy black, but it should function nicely for what I got to do. And then if I semi-gloss coat it to take the shine away, then that'll be good. I also have regular Tamiya clear to protect things. And almost a whole can of Italian red here that I didn't use before. But you know, that goes on pretty thin. And then I've got other things that weren't even for this. So basically that's what I'm going to try to do. And sorry if I didn't have autofocus. I'm not really doing anything to the face. So the only thing I'm going to do is update the Patara earrings so they're the right color. So those will be green with little gold bits. So I've got some metallic green from Gundam markers, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So this is going to be one of the bigger challenges because, well, it's softer plastic, so I got to be careful. But I'm going to get after it and hopefully work on it. So, I mean, I've got a good bit of primer here. I still need it for my Gundam project, which I'm also going to be working on today. But I wanted to get this at least in primer form and get it started, especially with something like that crotch, which is for sure need to change color. So, and then the hair, I have it right here. I'm going to go with the pearl white. They've got like an ugly gray. So I'm going to go with the pearl white. I might hit it with a little bit of silver leaf first and then go over it with the white, just so it has a nice shiny base. Yeah, I've got a couple partial cans of silver leaf that I can do the hair. So, all right, gonna get after it. All right, so hair is primed, skirt is primed, whole upper body is primed in, both legs are primed, and then the crotch is hanging out up here. So I've got all that part done and primed. I'm going to leave a good bit of it to get dry. So the parts that need to be black are the pants, the crotch, and the arms. So I'm going to do all of those at the same time. But I need to mask off most of the upper body so that I make sure I only get the arms. And then I might go ahead and just knock out the hair real quick, because that's not going to take hardly anything. So I think hit it with a coat of silver, and then hit it with the pearl. So I'm going to go do that. Gotta get it to focus. Come on. There we go. So that's with the silver coat. That looks pretty good. Looks very Ultra Instinct-y. I like that. And then I gotta coat it with the white. I'll be a little less intense with the white, so it gets on in thin coats. And then I might throw a gloss coat over it. I do have that Tamiya clear, so that might work, just to give it a shinier coat. But we'll do that next. And one thing that I've often touted using hot water to get a partial can with a lot more pressure, so you get a little bit more out of it. Now that's probably half a can, maybe a bit less. I don't need a whole lot to get this thing done. I'm hoping that it comes out decently and I don't have to do a whole lot of coats. The silver is going to add a lot of the wear and tear a lot of the solid color that I really wanted, so this is just going to add some of the white aspects to it and a little bit of that pearlescent sheen, hopefully. But what I'm going to do with everything else, because I'm worried about it, so I've got some errands to do along with some other things, so I'm going to let the legs and the torso chill for however long that takes, and then I'm going to mask off the torso, and then I'll try to do the black coat on the legs and the arms. I'm mostly concerned about this guy because it is the most flexible part. Now this is of course not the like super flexible paint and all that, but I'm hoping that it'll hold up okay. My biggest worry is when it comes to assembly, how bad it's going to be. And also, before I forget, make sure I put the crotch down there because that's got to be black as well. So I mean, ultimately it's going to be pretty easy once I get to the point of once I've got the gray applied to the clothing, then I'm just going to let it dry for like a day, and then I'll come back and I'll have to do a little bit of masking again, or just be incredibly careful with the brush, and I'm going to hand paint all the red edges onto everything, and then that button will get some gold. So that's just what I've got going on. I want to get the hair, get the head done, because I'm worried I don't want to get any crazing or anything like that from the glue, because I am going to have to glue the head together. I'll probably have to glue it with some putty inside of it too. So we'll see. Alright, there we go. Come on, there we go. Actually looks pretty good. I don't even have to clear coat, it's getting nice and shiny. Nice. Took several coats, honestly, so it's a little thicker than I want it to be, but, you know, the pearl white, it takes a while for it to actually come through properly, but I like the results. I'm going to leave this be for quite some time, probably till the end of the day. And then I'm probably going to assemble a head then. But I got other things to do, so on with the day. Alright, so I'm just about ready to get the head put together. Stop dropping the dang thing. Okay, so earlier before I did some running around, I painted the Patara as green. Came out very nice. That's just a green Gundam marker. Why does my phone just not know where to go? Come on. Alright, there we go. So, just trying to get it as tight as I can, and I'll fit the front of the hair on, and then we got the gluing. That's the scary part. So, time to get to it. Okay, well, I applied glue, had to shift things around a little bit. I'm just going to hope it stays okay. Leave it alone for a bit, see if it holds. If not, I'll have to rethink how I'm going to do this. Maybe a two-part epoxy or something. We'll see what happens, but the super glue should work. It wasn't holding at first. I think there was a little too much paint in the way, but hopefully it'll be okay now. Alright, well, got this prepped for paint, got all the nice masking done, and pretty much got crotch ready to go. And, well, I just got to do the legs the way I got to do them. I've got the paint about to go for getting warmed up, and got some roadkill on the TV. Alright guys, so a couple updates. It's the next day. After what took quite a bit, I've got the legs kind of in a semi-gloss. That was a process. So I did the gloss coat yesterday, and then I tried doing a semi-gloss coat today to bring it down. It didn't really work. So I covered it, this is crazy, covered it in matte black after that, which still didn't get it there. So I hit it with a matte clear coat. And now I got this kind of finish. Now the skirt, I just left it painted from yesterday. I did just do a semi-gloss clear coat on it just to help protect it. Plus, when I do the red paint, that'll help that The head, I don't really want to handle it because I got stuff on my fingers. The head is nice and dry, looking pretty good. Only one little spot of glue kind of out of the way. I would like to have clear coated this hair with some nice gloss, but I think it came across pretty good. Not quite as sparkly as I'd like it to be, but it is what it is. But the head works, and those earrings look really good. I need to set that out of the way. The body, which is up here drying, I did the same thing I did to the legs. So I did all that work to try to get it in a gloss and a semi-gloss, and it didn't work because I didn't want to go backwards. So I hit it with 2 coats of matte black, still looked semi-glossy, hit it with the matte, and now I'm kind of at the finish I want it to be. Not super shiny, but not super dull. So I'm going to let that dry for like an hour, and then just let it chill. So that's clear coated now. I'm gonna let it chill. I gotta peel the body, or peel all the parts of the shirt, and then mask off the arms and the neck, and then paint the rest in the same gunship, or I'm sorry, German gray to match that, and then I can start doing things the right way. All right, time to wish me luck. Gonna hit all that with some gray. At least around the collar, you know, that's gonna be painted, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't get any gray on the black. If I do, I can do a little bit of touch up with my normal matte black, but I want to do as little as possible. In the armpits, it is what it is, but time to paint that and hope everybody comes out good. At least that gunship gray is actually pretty nice. Or German gray. I keep saying gunship. It's German! There we go. So I'm going to let it hang out for about 30 minutes or so, and then hit it with the clear coat. Looks pretty good. Alright guys, so little skip progress day. So while I got the body pretty much all painted up and stuff like that with the spray paint, I had to go ahead and use this brush on flat red from Tamiya. Picked that up at Hobbytown to basically get to this point. Now, a couple, like, it's been slow going at best, and I think I'm going to put on at least one more coat, and then, because some places they look okay, and others you can tell it's a little thin. So I did what I could last night, just going around it, giving a few minutes, moving on to a new area. Same thing with the top part here, trying to get a little crisper lines. I bought some new brushes at Hobbytown yesterday, so these like this, they're pretty good. Did I clean that one? Nope. Okay, so I gotta clean that one again. I had a little bit of an accident last night. I spilled thinner in here. Luckily, I'm not on anything important. I spilled it on this table. And you can see here where it started melting through a the label on the thing of styrene sheet. So I got some interesting stains on the table now. Hi, kits that need to be put away. So today I'm gonna try to just add a couple more layers of this paint, and then once I get it to the part where I like it, clear coat it one more time. And because everything's basically getting the same clear coat, because a flat with the semi-gloss coat is probably gonna take it up just a notch. It's not going to be glossy. Now you can see how the masking worked out really well for the inside of the skirt, so it'll look a little darker on the outside and then like that. But now I can see where I need to hit some of the edges with the paint. One problem I had is it was drying out and getting a little clumpy, so I might need to turn off my fan altogether while I do this. But I'm going to need to clean out this bigger brush. I didn't realize I didn't quite get it clean last night. This one came in really handy, because these are made to keep their point a little bit better. So trying to get this area around the collar was not easy. And I wasn't going to use the bigger brush. The bigger brush works fine for like this area, especially around the belt. So that's what I'm going to do. Make a little more progress on it, get this finished today. And I think I'm going to run out. I'm going to get some alcohol to help clean off all that gunk. Because anything that wasn't painted has gunk, which means the hand joints are going to be covered in gunk as well. I don't know why I don't just uncover those now. But yeah, so hopefully, end of the day, this thing will be done. In the meantime, I've got all of that all of these to review. Well, not this, we've already seen this. This stuff all needs to be put away, and I need to get my room back in order because I've still got Transformers to review and other kits to work on. So, oh, and I have a cool idea what to do with the boxes because normally I've been throwing them away. I really dig this side box art, so I think I'm just going to cut the sides of the box off and make like a little thing. It'll look pretty cool. So, yay for that. Come back and check that stuff out later. We'll come back in a little bit when I get this part done. Alright guys, so that seems like a good enough spot to stop. And I'm going to get the clear coat from over there in the coffee cup. You know how I do. So that's that. The skirt, there it is. Gonna clear coat both these things, let them chill for like an hour. I'm gonna run up to the store, see if I can get some rubbing alcohol, help clean up some stuff. I did have one spot that sucked. I had a paint mishap and then tried to clean it, so that spot's never gonna be quite great. Actually, now I need to. That's better. I mean, it's the bottom of the skirt. Nobody's really ever gonna look at the back. So I think it's coming out really well, and I don't need to do the legs. I just need to clean them up. So I'm gonna go get that rubbing alcohol, and probably run over to Hobby Lobby, no, Michael's, and see about shadow boxes for a whole different project. But this guy is nearly done. I wasn't recording. All right, so there's that, nice and clear coated. It's having a hard time focusing. It's gonna dry a little bit. I already hit it with the hairdryer for a bit, but I'm gonna let it just relax and let it do its thing. I mean, there's some little paint mishaps here and there, but otherwise it's pretty clean. There's the legs and the skirt already ready to go. So really it's gonna come down to just snapping the head on, snapping the torso together, putting some hands on him, and be good to go. Speaking of which, I gotta find the hands. They're over there in a pile. So I think I'm gonna run to the store and just let this chill for a bit. Alright, so clear coated it, got the button on there, clear coated it again, slapped the head on it, and I'm about to sit down and do the review. But kind of happy with how it came out. I mean, it's not perfect like I wanted it to be, but it's pretty damn good. I just realized I can't take a picture while videoing anymore. That's dumb. Look at the hand glowing, that's funny. Get the hair back there and back. But I like it. Overall, he's pretty awesome. So, alright, make sure you come back for the review. Thanks for sticking through the build log. I know I screwed up a few times and it's been a bit lengthy, but I do have to clean up the floor. It's kind of covered in plastic crud now, but awesome. Nice fused Zamas now. Go check out the review if you want to see that.